Hello and welcome to Cecil.tv, Cecil Weekly. I'm your host, Rob Churnside. We're one mere week away from Christmas, and probably you could check the website of each and every town in Cecil County and find out exactly what's going on. There are lots of things going on. Get your cookies baked, get your presents wrapped, and very important though, December the 21st at the Help Center in Elkton, there will be a food distribution event from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. That means they're going to be closed prior to that event. So, hungry folks out there, and we do have hungry folks in the county, the 21st, Thursday at the Help Center, 11 to 2. And now, our guest tonight, Jack Foreaker, Cecil County's Renaissance man. Welcome, Jack, to Cecil.tv.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's great. I know you're booked years in advance with various things. You're busy with wearing so many hats and doing so many things so well.
Thank you. I try.
Some of it's effortless.
Yeah.
And we probably should break down our conversations. I know you work in recovery. You manage the Haven House. You're one of the pioneers of local television, and we're happy to have you at Cecil.tv, Cecil Weekly, to share maybe some of your trade secrets with us. And you're probably most known worldwide as a puppeteer. Let's talk first and foremost, I guess, about perhaps the most important thing to a lot of people out there, your efforts in recovery.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm in recovery myself. I've been in recovery now for almost 37 years. And shortly after I got myself straightened out, I started to volunteer at the health department. And that led to volunteering at Haven House. And so I started volunteering there in 1981, and I was hired in 1984 as a counselor. I was the first counselor hired at a halfway house in the state of Maryland. And so we were the first halfway house to have treatment at the house. The treatment back then was you went to the health department for an hour a week, and that was your treatment. Well, now, when I came in, we had treatment round the clock. And so now every halfway house in the state of Maryland has treatment. But we were the pioneers with that. We're the oldest halfway house in the state of Maryland. They incorporated in 1970, and we moved to our current location in 1998, which is down on 213, just past the Loki Center.
Right, and it's halfway between Elkton and Chesapeake City, but that's not what halfway house is all about.
No.
What does that really mean?
Halfway houses there's different things in Maryland. Maryland has halfway houses and sober houses and recovery houses. A halfway house in Maryland is actually a certified level of treatment. We run under what's called ASAM criteria, which is the American Society of Addiction Medicine. So we have very strict COMAR regulations through the state, and we have to provide a minimum amount of hours of treatment a week, and the staff has to be certified. Menus have to be approved by a dietitian, so it's a lot different than a recovery house, which is just a sober environment.
Right.
But there may or there may not be treatment involved in that. They don't do treatment at a recovery house, but some recovery houses require people to be involved in an outpatient program. But ours is all done right on location. It's a one-stop shop. You get your meals, you get your treatment. We're a work-oriented program, and there are many and varied in the state. Some halfway houses do not want you to work while you're there. We want you to work day two that you're there if it's possible, and start saving money. Your goal when you hit my halfway house is to get out of my halfway house.
Right, right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's very holistic, I guess.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And the person is halfway between their previous addiction life and a clean and sober life.
You're changing the brain from an addictive brain to a recovery brain, which is a long process. So our program is 9 months. If you do the whole program, it's a 9-month program. But we ask you to at least commit to the first 90 days and see how it goes from there.
So if we shift gears a little bit, Jack, I know you do, with your puppets, you're world renowned for your work with the puppets, and I'm sure we can talk a little bit about that soon. But don't you do a recovery puppet show?
Yeah, we do. I started doing a recovery puppet show, 1985. I was working with a convention, an AA convention in Hagerstown. And they asked me if I could come up with something that was recovery oriented. So there's some characters in some of the literature that are copyrighted by Alcoholics Anonymous. So I got a hold of their World Service office in New York and explained the idea to them, and they gave me permission to build these characters into puppets.
Oh, great.
So we did a whole history of they have a magazine called The Grapevine. So we did a history of that with a character named Victor E. And they have tapes of it in New York, and it's we've had pictures taken and all kinds of stuff with that. But then that has evolved into it's about an hour and a half show on recovery. That's all based on 12-step recovery. And we've gone all over the country with it. We've been to Vegas and Niagara Falls and Houston, Texas, and all over the state of Pennsylvania and New Jersey and up into New York. And so it's amazing, you know, where this stuff, I mean, without advertising, it's just word of mouth. And it's amazing where it all takes you and the people you get to meet. And
yeah, and help.
It's fascinating, but it's a lot of fun. You know, it really is. It's a very interactive show, working with an audience. It's not just me up there doing stuff.
Right.
The audience is involved in it, and in fact, we're going to do a part of it on New Year's Eve for an AA group in Newark, Delaware, at Westminster House in Newark. They're having a New Year's Eve party up there, and I'm going to do part of the performance for them.
If you're out there in Newark, or even close to Newark, Westminster House,
Yep.
Newark, Delaware. That's right on
Westminster.
273.
Right there, in between the Presbyterian Church and the Newark Country Club. I think it's actually run by the Presbyterian Church as part of their community resources. I'm not positive on it, but I think it is. And then they're going to hold the New Year's Eve dance in the hall behind the church.
Nice, that'll be nice. Now, Jack, let me ask, did you bring any puppets tonight?
We brought a whole trunk load of stuff. They're Christmas ones. Well, I'm into Christmas right now, so you can only get one show in the van at Christmas time, and that's Christmas. So.
And that's the Christmas show at the Senior Center, right?
That'll be the one we got snowed out last week, so we've rescheduled to Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, the 20th. And we'll be up at the Senior Center. We do it every year up there. I've been doing it up there for years.
Great.
For them. So yeah, we'll be there.
Well, let's meet the puppet, shall we?
Okay.
Great.